A couple of months ago about a family held at gunpoint and then kidnapped in a bid to steal money from a major supermarket. It was a particularly distasteful crime. You can imagine the effect that it had on the family concerned. And it's a type of offence detectives are determined to put a stop to. Indeed, with your help tonight, this is one that they're going to solve. In the next few minutes, we'll be revealing for the first time a number of important clues, some of them so specific that several people watching are likely to know who the culprits are. Please call us if you can help. The reconstruction begins 4 miles northeast of Ipswich. On the afternoon of Friday, August the 2nd, Edna Andrews and her sons Matthew and James were 27 miles from home, walking wearily towards the village of Balham in Suffolk. They stopped off at a builder's merchant's.
Can you help us? We've been kidnapped. Can you get the police?
What? What's your problem?
Look, these are the marks where we were tied up and held in a car. My husband's the manager at Tesco's. They told him to go and get some money. I don't know where he is. Get the police, please.
Hello. This is Mr. Andrews, General Manager at Tesco's Ipswich. I've just been involved in a serious incident. My wife and family have been taken hostage.
Mr. Andrews, yes sir, we are in touch with your family, and my understanding is that they're safe and unharmed.
Oh, thank God.
In the investigation that followed, police received 4 crucial tip-offs. They led detectives to a number of local people whom they believe played minor roles in helping to set up the crime. All denied they know the identity of the actual. And from what police have learned from other witnesses, investigators have been able to build up quite a detailed picture of the 3 men they're now looking for, the ringleaders.
We believe the gang are from London and the home counties. What they did was, in fact, plan the robbery for about 6 months, travelling to Colchester and Ipswich on odd days, and followed Mr. Andrews, keeping him under observation. It may also be that during this time they watched and observed other members of Tesco's staff. One of the gang we know was driving a Land Cruiser, a Toyota Land Cruiser, together with a silver Peugeot GTI. It is also known that they followed them to his home address and also kept his family under observation for some considerable time. Organised and well-planned robbery conducted by very professional men who are very ruthless in their actions.
It's 9 o'clock in the evening of Thursday, August the 1st, in Brookshall Road in Ipswich. The car had been stolen 10 days earlier and now has false number plates. About 20 minutes drive away is Chits Hill in Colchester.
Tonight's main headline again. Israel has said yes.
See you in a minute.
Yeah, okay. And said tonight that the US had agreed to its demands on Palestinian representation. There'll be more on Newsnight on BBC 2 at half.
Move in and shut up. Who are you? What do you want? I said move in and shut up. Mom!
Oh, God.
What's going on?
Leave him alone. He's a
Be quiet.
boy.
And you'll be all right. Move into that room. Keep your heads down. 6-4. Everything's okay. We're in. Is it quiet out there?
The nosy may be looking out the window, but otherwise it's quiet.
Are you expecting anyone tonight?
No. Only my son, Matthew.
At what time will he be back? Keep your eyes down! Don't look at me.
This man is the brains and the leader of the gang. He spoke with a European accent, possibly Dutch or German. We believe he lives in a flat in the London area, possibly alone. He certainly doesn't appear to be married, although he speaks regularly of visiting his nieces and nephews in that area. We believe he's a dog owner and a keen mountaineer. We think that he may be called Paul, but we're far from certain of that.
There's no doubt that their guns were loaded. By midnight, a third intruder was in the house, and the Andrews' eldest son had returned home to be greeted by the gunman.
We know everything about you. Your car, your movements. What we want is £80,000 from your store.
We probably don't have that kind of money at the store.
Then you have a problem. How much will there be?
Probably about 20,000.
But that's no good to us. We spent 10 grand setting this job up. 20 grand is nothing.
Look, I know what you want, and I'll do what you want, only just don't harm my family.
Look, it's nothing personal, just a job. I've got a mortgage like you. Cooperate, fine. If not, we'll do your wife and kids. You may find the bodies, you may not.
This is a particularly evil and aggressive man. He threatened to rape Mrs. Andrews during this incident. We believe him to be married or living with a partner. He drives a red XR3i and pretends to be a builder. He carries a bag of cement in the back of the car for this purpose, to dust himself down, his clothing.
It's 5:30 in the morning.
You will carry on as normal. Tell someone at the store if you have to get the money, but don't tell head office or the police. You will be at the drop-off point at 3:30. If you're not there, you can kiss goodbye to your family. Have you got that?
They headed north along the A12 towards Ipswich and drove right past the supermarket which Andy Andrews runs. A few miles further on, the car turned into Balham Woods. About 1 hour later, at around 7 o'clock, Andy Andrews arrived for work as usual. At Balham Woods, just one of the kidnappers remained, camouflaging the car to prevent it being seen from the road.
Stupid.
We know less about this man than the other two. He seems less sure of himself and was regularly ordered about by the other two. We believe he lives in the London area and has spent time in Hollesley Bay Detention Centre in Suffolk for car crime.
It's now 3:05 at Tesco's. Andy Andrews has told some half a dozen staff about what's happened, and they've agreed to let him have the takings. A security guard has volunteered to accompany him to give him some support as he heads off to drop the cash, precisely as he's been instructed. They left the car and money in the do-it-all car park off Ranelagh Road and walked to Ipswich railway station, where Andy had been told he'd hear about his family. When no message came, he telephoned the police. Malcolm Hargreaves, obviously we haven't shown much of what happened inside the house, but this was a particularly unpleasant bunch of people.
Yes, short of murder or rape, I believe this is the most obnoxious offence that criminals can commit, and most villains wouldn't touch it with a barge pole.
The first guy, the one who was mid-European, possibly German, you're not entirely sure about this video fit.
No, we're not entirely sure. It's the impression of one particular witness, and there may be variations to the hairstyle and the overall shape of the face.
Let's just remind ourselves of what the others look like. We think these are fairly accurate. There is incidentally a very substantial reward on this.
There is indeed. Tesco's have put forward a £30,000 reward, which is on offer for the arrest and charging of the persons responsible.
That's most unusual. It's for the arrest and charge. You don't need to secure a conviction.
No, we don't.
They're obviously really determined that these guys are going to be found tonight. Another good clue, of course, is the Toyota Land Cruiser that you know one of them had.
We believe this is an excellent clue. As mentioned in the film, the man we refer to as the German was believed to be using a Land Cruiser type vehicle from January to about July, and also a Peugeot colour silver 205 GTI. Not
necessarily a Toyota Land Cruiser, but that's the best description you've got.
That's
right?
the nearest we can get to it.
And I think you reckon he probably disposed of the vehicle around the time of the crime?
He probably disposed of the four-wheel drive vehicle about the first week in July.
So somebody who's a dealer, perhaps?
It's just possible that a garage will remember a German selling that vehicle to them.
This was one of the shotguns used in the offence, recovered soon afterwards. Tell us about it. What sort of... It's got a number on it, B10870. B10870.
This is one of two shotguns brought by the criminals to be used on the offence, recovered at Ipswich, and we were only able to find the original owner in South Wales in 1984, and since then we've not been able to trace its history at all.
Okay. This belt, cartridge belt, also found. These aren't the original cartridges that were found with the belt. They were quite unusual. They were of different colours.
Yes, it was particularly noticed by the witnesses that there were multicoloured cartridges in the belt, but that is the original belt.
Mr. Hargreaves, this sort of offence is very unusual. As you say, it's very serious, and the police are determined that it shouldn't be repeated. If it is, what is the advice to somebody who finds that their family is threatened? Should they call the police? What should they do?
Our advice is always to notify the police, because the villains rely on the overwhelming threats to intimidate these people. We have contingency plans to deal with these matters, and one of the most important aspects is the police will do nothing to place the life of a victim at risk.
So call the police, however strong the intimidation and threats are?
However strong the intimidation is, that is what they rely on. It's mainly bluff.
There's a big reward, as I say. It was a particularly distasteful crime. Here's the number if you can help, 081 811 8181. That comes directly here to the studio, or you can call officers direct at Essex Police Headquarters in Chelmsford, 452 120. 0245, the code for Chelmsford, 452 120.
And now on BBC One, CWUK opens the Crimewatch File on an emotive case of double identity.
On Thursday, the 1st of August, 2 years ago, a supermarket manager was forced to rob his own store while his wife and 2 children were held hostage. When the details of the case began to emerge, that Andy Andrews, his wife Edna, and their 2 sons, Matthew and James, had been held at gunpoint and subjected to sadistic psychological torture for more than 15 hours, a sense of shock and outrage spread throughout the country. What follows now is a reconstruction of just some of what that family suffered during those 15 hours, and the difficulties police faced in the course of carrying out their investigations. The Andrews family has been closely involved with the production of this programme. They gave us permission to make the film in the hope that the story will provide an insight into the enduring trauma this kind of crime causes. And they also wanted Crimewatch viewers to know how their information helped a small team of dedicated detectives to bring 3 men to justice. The police officers who appear in the film were all involved in the actual investigation, but actors portray the family and other people. Several names and places have been changed to protect the privacy of some of the people involved with this case and their families. We begin in a pub in London's East End, 9 months before the robbery.
Jack Marsh? Hello, Jack, it's Lenny. Lenny Bowler.
Hello, Lenny. How's it going, mate?
Jack, do you know anyone who'd like to do a bit of business in your area? Well, I've got someone here in London who's looking for a good contact if you're interested.
What else you got on the job?
Nothing, mate. But I know it's going to be a good one. Yeah, but the guy who's interested is a German by the name of John. Will you give it some thought and ring me back?
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, I know someone who's a bit reliable. I'll make a phone call and maybe we can arrange a meet with the German.
Nice talking to you, Jack.
Yeah, and you, Lenny. Cheers, mate.
Jack, go and play the machine. So, Terry, you have contacts?
Just got a few local mates to help me out when I need it.
So you have a flat?
No, I've got ours. I've got council ours. Live there with my wife and my kiddies.
There's a nice big shiny car outside, I think, yeah?
I wish.
Jackpot. Do you want to have a drink?
So, Terry, maybe you can do some things for me, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm planning a job at Tesco.
What, the garage?
No, the superstore Tesco. I need to know who the manager is.
Yeah.
What car he drives, where he lives. You can do this?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's the manager of Tesco's there.
No, it isn't. He hasn't got a moustache.
It is.
No, it isn't. Jack, get back in here. Jack! Oh, Jesus. Jack! That's the one there, behind you with the moustache. Get in! Christ.
That robot.
Jack, get it started. What's wrong with it? Oh, Christ, you're going to lose him.
I'll get it.
Get over there!
Get down,
Shut up! You, get over here! On the floor! Come on, get over here! Get down!
Other rooms!
Come on,
He's in the other rooms.
He's just a boy.
Get
Please!
Move your ass! Get up! Get over there! Sit down and shut up! Sit down! Sit down as well! Get your eyes down! Don't look at me! What do you want?
Do we have all the family here?
No.
Don't look at me.
My son Matthew, he's out at a party.
What time will he be back?
I'm sorry, I don't know. Soon.
I didn't know at that stage the reason for these people being in my home, and that was frightening. And I make no bones about that. I was petrified. And these guys were using their weapons freely, very cockily, and I mean, went on throughout the evening and the morning when the gun was put beside my ear, in my groin, in my stomach, and it just with a sadistic laugh as I say, look, I know you're scared, mate, you know, but, you know, I'm just going to continue.
Get up. Keep your eyes down.
It went on, and it just seemed to get worse. We were just being put down to a level where we had no pride whatsoever. We were really pushed down, and that really, really did hurt. Eventually, I became aware of what they wanted. They wanted me to rob Tesco's. If I didn't, they'd already told me that they were taking my wife and family away the following morning, and if I didn't cooperate with them fully, then their bodies may never be found. They made that quite clear, that they killed before and they would do it again.
Look at me. Look at me. Bang.
What colour eyes do you think I have?
Brown. What colour eyes do you think I have? Blue. Blue.
It's just something I'll stay with me for my life. They were just so evil, these people. And they took pleasure out of it. There was no need.
And how tall do you think I am? 5'10". Try again.
6 foot.
6 foot, I think, yeah. And do you know what to do tomorrow? Do you know where your wife is? No. Do you know what we did to your wife? Do you? No. You do not even know where she is, do you? Perhaps she's dead? Oh dear. Perhaps she's been shot.
They let me go through to see my family. Ed, my wife, and myself, we were aware that we had to be strong as you could be in that situation for the children.
All right, don't we?
It's going to be okay, Dad.
It's going to be fine, son. I'm going to do everything they say. And it will be over very soon. Just don't worry, yeah?
You're going to be all right.
I'm going to be fine.
All right, CWUK, that's enough. Come on, out of the way. You three, move! Come on, move it. Are you deaf or what? Let's move it!
At that stage, I just broke down. I just, I just couldn't handle the initial pressure that I was under. I just tried to put it together in my mind, what they went through in that room. And I just had some pretty evil thoughts about those three people that were in my house. And I still do. You know, I just wish that I had the guts to give them 5 minutes of the fear that they've given us. Just 5 minutes. Time was endless. I had no way of knowing where they were. All I knew was that I had a time, a deadline. I just thought about ringing the police, ringing various people I knew, but then I just changed my mind because forefront of my mind was the safety of my family. To my mind, I just knew that I had to do what I had to do. I was never going to deviate from that. I'd taken one of my staff with me as a witness of what I was doing. Because, believe it or not, it went through my mind, I thought people thought I'd taken the money. You just don't walk out with the sort of money that they wanted. I was told to drive my car to DIY car park in Ipswich and leave it there with the keys under the mat. Then I was told to go to Ipswich railway station and wait there where I would receive instructions. I was told that somebody would come with a note and that never happened. And I thought something had gone wrong because I was out on a limb, I was on my own. The deadline went past and I left. I thought, well, I'll just give it another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes. And nothing happened. So I went and dialed 999 from the railway station and explained that my wife and family had been kidnapped. He said, your wife and family are safe. I remember dropping the telephone and sort of trying to find somewhere to hide. I mean, and I was just sort of so tearful, I just couldn't control myself. And I stood outside that station, and the funny thing about it, a soul came near me. So it was a bit weird and strange, but I just howled the relief that they were safe.
Yeah, no problem. We'll get that done.
We got the good news that Mr. Andrews was safe, as well as Edna and the two children. And that, of course, removed the pressure from the police. The worst possible scenario is to have outstanding hostages. So I was dispatched by my chief superintendent here to Colchester to set up an incident room. I appointed D.I. Block as my deputy senior investigating officer.
What you to look at these two people, all right?
Andy's all right, and we're getting Andy up for it. Where is he? Andy's on his way down from Ipswich.
One of the important things was obviously to deal with the family. They were interviewed by an officer that night, but it was decided that full statements would be taken the following day when they recovered from some of the trauma.
We'll be able to come and see you, and you'll be able to talk to each other and make sure that everything's all right. It's the first time I can honestly say with a victim that you could actually feel that the terror still hadn't gone.
The boys, will they be able to come in here as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll leave you all together for a while so you can have a chat. They're being looked after by two lads. She's probably one of the worst trauma victims that I've ever come across, in that she really didn't seem to know what was happening.
The actual target of the operation was to get money out of Tesco's. I'm not sure at this stage that anybody knows exactly how much money has been stolen, but I think there's a suggestion that about £85,000 was asked for. There's a lot of villains just wouldn't do this sort of thing, so perhaps it's a fairly narrow field that we've got to be looking at. So anybody got any ideas?
Well, I mean, I'd like to say that an informant rang me up a couple of weeks ago and he said there was going to be a job, a robbery at Tesco's. But I mean, we put observation on it and things like that for a couple of weeks, but nothing ever came off, so we just dropped it.
Did you give a name?
Yeah, it was Terry Allen and Marsh she gave me.
Are they known to you?
They're known in Ipswich area, yeah.
For what? Very much?
No, just little stuff, really.
Well, all right, we've had a kidnap. That was a robbery, but it's getting close, isn't it?
The next day, the word was out there was a £30,000 reward for information on this offence. As you can imagine, the amount of people, informants particularly, were crawling out of the woodwork to give us information, to help and to get a slice of the reward. Two particular names kept cropping up, that of Terry Allen and Jack Marsh.
I was nicked the other day for drugs possession. Now I've got some information, good information, on the Tesco kidnap case. I'll give you it if you can get the charge against me dropped.
No, there's no chance. No chance in this world we're going to do that. You all be thinking about different things to that. You ought to be considering, when you come out from doing your little bit of time, £30,000 as a nest egg. Have you thought of that?
I don't want to talk here. Let's go somewhere else, a pub.
Tom.
What's it all about then?
What about my guarantees, eh?
Nothing's changed. The same as yesterday. Take it or leave it, really.
Right. I've got 3 bits of information for you.
Yeah.
Names. Jack Marsh, Terry Allen.
What else you got?
As far as I know, the job was set up in London.
What else?
Yeah, well, the third thing is, I know Terry Allen's got all the gear stashed up at his house. And that he's expecting a package from London.
What's in the package?
Money, mate. It's his cat.
Great. We immediately set out camp at the post office in Ipswich. We had a warrant signed by the Home Secretary authorising us to do so, and we just waited for the package to arrive. Eventually it did arrive, and of course we wanted to seize it immediately. It may have had an address, a name, fingerprints on the notes, anything. When it arrived, the post office weren't exactly cooperative. They said that the package had to be delivered in the normal course of the mail.
Oscar 3 to Oscar 1, the postman is now in Peterhouse. Close, over.
On the day we actually followed the postman, unbeknown to him, what we had to do is not only keep track of the package, but we also had to ensure we could arrest Alan prior to the package arriving.
From Oscar 1, it's 07:30 hours. I've now got the postman in sight.
But one thing was for sure, that package was never going to arrive at Terry Allen's house. It was going to arrive to one of us. So what we did is a twofold. situation, really. We had the postman himself actually under surveillance to make sure the package didn't disappear en route, whilst at the same time we made a policeman up to look like a post office worker and deliver a fake package.
No pedestrians, it's very quiet. Coming up to Whiteface now. Now approaching Peter House Close, walking towards the front door.
Van's now in position.
The top bedroom window is open.
Now knocking on the door.
No sign of movement. Good morning, Mr. Allen.
Yeah.
I've got a package for you.
Great, I'll be right down.
Contact, he's at the window. He's going down the stairs. Good morning, son. What's your first name, please?
Terry.
Subject now at the door.
Can you just sign there for me, please? There you go. Fine, thank you. There you go.
Oh, please, get your hands up! Get him up! Get him up! Oh, police officers, take control!
Subject now arrested. Now in the van and away. No problems.
At the time that Alan was arrested, there was a further operation in the Ipswich area to arrest about 10 people who were on the periphery of this offence. The object being to arrest everybody at the same time. This prevents contact between possible defendants and information being imparted or indeed evidence being lost between each of the people involved.
Keep your noise down, please.
Cup of tea.
That's right.
Jack Marsh. What's this? Hello there, I'm Nigel Will from Colchester CID. Is my colleague Tim Jest. That's who we are.
What is it?
I've got to arrest you, Mr. Marsh, on suspicion of kidnap at Tesco's, the manager of Tesco's earlier this year.
Look, Terry introduced me to the German, right? And then Terry asked me to help me out watching the Tesco manager. That's all there is to it.
That's not true, Jack, is it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the lot.
No, it's obviously what you've done for the last 40 years of your criminal life, and it's slip and slide about. You want a deal from us.
That's nothing to do with this.
And you can't even tell the truth now, can you?
That's it. Look, I didn't know the German from Adam, did I?
I've got nothing to do with this. I don't even know what you're talking about. It's got nothing to do with it. I didn't do the job.
You know that's not true. You know it's not, because we've said enough to you already to indicate to you that we know an awful lot about it.
Yeah, I know.
That's right, Terry.
Yeah, all right. What do you know?
A lot of people have talked to us because of the money that's being offered.
Yeah, I know that. Look, I wouldn't kidnap anybody. You know I wouldn't do something like that. Most I've ever done is nick some bloody leather coats.
Look, Terry, this is kidnapping. It's not burglary. It's not what you're usually in here for. You know the difference, don't you?
Yes.
And you know the consequences of the difference.
Yes.
Then start thinking for yourself. It's no use sitting there saying, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't know what you're talking about. £30,000 was offered for information. People will sell their mothers for that, and they'll certainly sell you, and they have done.
All right, then. This old mate of mine, Jack Marsh, introduced me to this German geezer. He wanted to do some business.
What sort of business?
What do you think?
Well, it obviously wasn't straight. What did you think it was?
Well, I didn't know what it was. I've known Jack for ages. He's an old mate of my dad's. Often tries to help me out, put me in some work. We never got any money, me and my wife. Anyway, he introduced me to this German geezer in the pub. He was called John, that's what they called him. He told me to go to the Tesco superstore and find out who the manager was. And find out the registration number of the manager's car.
How'd you contact him, then?
I never contacted him. He always contacted me, always phoned me.
Just like that?
Yeah,
and
just...
you accepted that?
He just used to lounge around in my house.
Oh, well, just lounge around. Had nowhere else to go, but he happened to come from London. And his name's John, and he's German.
So, Terry, do we have the registration number of the Tesco manager?
Certainly do.
That's good.
Yeah. Me and Jack went and got it.
I don't want Marsh involved.
Jack's all right. He's not grass.
That's good, Terry. Because do you know why?
No.
I detest grasses. I have thrown acid in the face of a grass. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And it's not just the person that suffers, it's the family too. That's the best torture, I think.
You've got nothing to worry about for me. I'm not gonna... Do you want a cup of coffee, then?
Black, no sugar.
Yeah. He scared the bloody wits out of me, that man. One time, he said he wanted to look for a place to hide a car. We drove round for a couple of hours till we found somewhere.
Here's some sweets for your kids. Don't worry, they're not poisoned. Yeah, this place is good, I think, for the car. Terry, I want you to steal me a car.
Hey, I wouldn't know how to. I'm not a car thief.
Must be fast, modern, 4 doors.
Yeah, but like I told you, I wouldn't begin to know how to steal a car.
Steal the car.
Look, I don't want to be involved in this anymore. I'm not going to say a word to anybody. Of course I'm not, but I want to get out.
It's a bit late for that, I think. Have you got the car?
No, I haven't.
I want you to get the car, and I want you to get it soon. Do you understand?
Yeah, bloody useless you are. Can't even steal a car. Have you seen this one? No, what's that? It's a fire. It's a Die Hard one. Any good?
No, it's crap.
Listen, John, I can't do this anymore. I've got to get out now.
Prat. Just get the car and get it soon.
Nice missus and kids. Best keep it that way, eh?
Just think of the money. Everything will be okay, I think, yeah?
Have you got any new films?
No, I haven't got any new ones in. I'll go up to my old man's if you like.
Put the kettle on the way out, Terry.
Names, Terry. What are their names?
Look, I've told you, I don't know what they're called.
You've been with them for 6 months. They've lived in your house, day in, day out. You've been introduced to them by other people. They've talked in your house. They use names.
Do you want me to make up a name for you?
You know the name. That's the point,
I
isn't
don't
it?
know the name.
You've given us your part in a job, but you've given us nothing else. There's no way this is right. You've got to know who they are. You must know their names.
I don't know who they are. I've told you. God knows how many bloody times. Why should I lie to you about it? If I could tell you who they were, I would, but I don't know who they are.
The longer I interviewed him, I became more and more convinced that he didn't know the names. You could see him straining, absolutely strained to think of the slightest detail that would help us. He was dominated, not only him, but his family. They took over him and his house and absolutely used him as they wanted. And when they'd finished with him, they just threw him aside.
Leave the door, mate is coming. Do we have everything?
Yeah, it's all here.
I want you to burn all this today. I want the gun kept here.
Why can't he keep it?
I said I want the gun kept here. I will collect it sometime.
Later on that day, he told me to drive the Tesco manager's car, which was parked in the DIY car park. He told me to follow him, and I couldn't drive it properly because it was an automatic. He told me there's money in the back.
Drive the car! Put it in the boot and take your gloves off.
was the last time I saw any of them.
You let them go off down the road with all that money and no way of contacting them, so you were led into it?
Yeah.
So why did you go bragging?
I wanted to make out that I was like one of the big time. Like for once in my life, I've been one of the bloody big boys. What a mess it's got me into. Yeah, try these ones, E27.
E27, so we'll give that a go and see what we've got. Look, we've already had these, Terry. How many more times do you want to have a look at them? Look, I'll put them in again and have a proper look. Now, before you say no, take the thing and have a look at it.
No, it's not right.
You haven't even looked at it. I've already looked at those twice.
They're nothing like those.
I don't know, they've been here an hour and a half. Do you like them? Do you want me to put them in?
Yeah.
All right, OK. What do you think to that one?
Goggle eyes.
Well, they've all got big eyes. The pages you want are the first 2 pages for the deep set eyes, or for the big eyes. Big round.
What about these ones?
E28. I don't know if we've actually had that one out or not. Let me have a look. I got the impression he was messing me about. That was my first impression. And the more that I sat there and played with his eyes and got the same eyes out again, I still thought that he was having me over. And I just didn't believe anything that he was doing. He was definitely doing a photo fit of someone, whether it be his uncle or someone, I don't know. But I didn't think he was doing a photo fit of our robbers.
He's got to be telling the truth. There's no doubt in my mind at all. It's got to be right what he's saying. I mean, even a toy dog given to his kid by this German. He said the prints will be on the batteries. I mean, those are not the actions of a person who's trying to have us over.
Me and a lot of the members of the team, we're still not 100% sure is Terry telling us everything right. We've got nothing. Nowhere at all.
Yeah, but that's policing. All right, police intelligence and police work has got us nowhere. Perhaps it's time we broadened it.
You mean, do we go to the press?
Why not go to the TV?
How sure are we? 80%, 90%, 100%?
All the way. Now, let's be fair, if we haven't got him, we've got nothing anyway.
The man we refer to as the German was believed to be using a Land Cruiser type vehicle from January to about July, and also a Peugeot colour silver 205 GTI.
Not necessarily a Toyota Land Cruiser, but that's the best description you've got.
It's the nearest we can get.
Probably disposed of the vehicle around the time.
So Crimewatch, OK. Yes, I'm a car dealer, and I think I know who owns the Toyota Land Cruiser and the Peugeot.
Can you get out of the car, please, and stand on the pavement?
Why the hell are you stopping me? I've done nothing wrong.
Don't take that attitude with me. You've been stopped, you weren't speeding. It's a routine stop. Can I see your documents, please? So I see from this that you're German.
Yeah,
Do you live in Aldershot?
yes I do.
Where are you going to now?
Well, I thought, well, the initial impression was he was a man with a lot of money. He was very well dressed, very nice Jeep. And I was actually puzzled as to what his occupation could be, what he was doing in Britain, because he had said he was German.
So what did you get the penalty points for?
For speeding
Whereabouts?
on the M11.
Is that Essex, please, or Cambridgeshire?
I think that would be Essex.
You're lucky you didn't go to court. Have you just bought the vehicle?
2 weeks ago.
I'd got my husband to tape Crimewatch, and when I came home from night duty, I switched it on when I was having my breakfast. And as soon as I saw the photo fit, I knew it was a bloke I'd stopped.
Okay, all your documents seem to be in order, so okay.
But the most striking part of that photo fit is the eyes. They just sort of like stand out from anything else. And I told my husband about it, and he said, well, ring up Crimewatch. So I rang up the Essex police number and gave them the details.
Crimewatch was a fantastic night. We had over 300 calls. On the night at the studio, it was impossible for us to actually go through all those calls to actually analyse what we got. But we all felt quite confident that in those calls somewhere were the ones that would give us the German.
Hello? Hello, Annie, it's Carl. Sorry to wake you. I had to leave early. Listen, I
I need you to get me £500 this morning.
Carl, what do you want with £500?
I just have to pay some men off at work. There's big cash flow problems here. Can you meet me at the bank at 9:30?
Okay.
No, it's better. We meet outside Lewisham Rail Station, okay?
Lewisham Station, 9:30.
Listen, I have to tell you I have some trouble at work just now. I have to go away for some time, I think.
What do you mean? What kind of trouble?
Just complications, some problems. I need some time.
Well, can I come with you?
No, you cannot come with me. It's not as if we are so very happy together just now. I don't think.
So what, that's it? After 5 years, that's it, just like that?
Shit. I just need some time for myself, okay? I think this is good for us. I'll ring you, okay? And if some people call for me, just say you do not know, yeah?
Will I see you?
Scheiße. This car is shit. I have to drop you here, I'm sorry. Listen, it's okay. I'll ring you, yeah?
On the Saturday following Thursday's programme, when we actually went through each call, I could see that there were 3 calls, the car dealer call in particular, that were talking about the same address. We dispatched a surveillance team down to that address as quickly as we could.
From the OP, there's no change, no change. This is getting a bit boring, isn't it? It's a bit more. She's in here, isn't she? Sure, I'm saying here.
Preston and Liverpool. Speculation that so far confirmed.
Hi, there's the police. Well, that's the Carl Schultz. Is he here?
No.
Who are you?
Anne. What is
When was the last time you saw him,
Anne? A couple of days. What?
Come with me. Come with me here.
There's no
Come here, Anne. Just come with me.
What is it?
There's nothing to worry about. You go with this officer and everything will be explained to you, okay? Nothing to worry about.
Staircase left.
Please. Go with him now. Hold on.
Just left. Carl Schultz, armed police. Let us know where you are. Come on. Okay. Go upstairs.
One up.
Go right. Got to start talking to us now.
Go low.
Let us know where you are. Come on. On. Paul, take it.
Carl, now come on, be sensible. The whole house is surrounded by armed police officers. You've got nowhere to go. So you might as well give it up. Now let's be sensible. Now you talk to me. Come on, Carl, just call out your name. Don't go sticking your head out. So we call out your name. There's no point in this going on any further.
That's clear by the loft. Okay. Can we have loft ladders, please?
Yeah, we have a weapon of some sort in the garage. Can we have Socko and CID, please?
Yes, I'll get them running. Stand by.
Yeah, house is clear. You can bring CID up.
Yes, ready.
Does he keep any diaries or telephone numbers that we might know?
How can you contact him?
I don't know where he is. I don't know where he is. He's got a book and he keeps his numbers there. I never see it. He takes it with him all the time.
Well, he must give you some idea where he goes to.
Sometimes he goes to Wales.
Well, Wales is a big place now. Where in Wales?
I don't know.
What sort of vehicles he got at the moment?
It's a Daihatsu.
Daihatsu what?
It's one of those four-wheel drive things. It's silver.
What, a Jeep type vehicle?
Yeah.
When did you last see him in that?
Friday.
We played a bit of a hunch from the information that we got from Anne and other sources that he might go to Wales. So I had a a telex message sent to the Mid Wales and North Wales police forces asking them to search for the new four-wheel drive vehicle that he was using.
Bravo Golf 10, go ahead.
The Daihatsu Golf 998 November Golf Papa, wanted from Essex, is in Cobden's car park in Capelkirk, over.
We've got the car, mate.
Don't bloody wind me up.
Seriously? No shit, we've got it.
Right, terrific. Where?
It's outside a hotel in North Wales.
Two pints of bitter, pint of lime. 100% certain that's our man. Okay. And I did with a Germanic appearance. He looks very much like the photograph. Okay. Have we gone to arrest him now? We stick to the plan. Okay.
When are you going? Where are you going?
I cannot say.
You have to ring me.
We're going to have to find out who the licensee is. Yeah, we'll pick that up later. We'll speak to one of the bar staff and plug it out later. I've got a good view of them if they find a move from the present position. Cheers, Mark. Business.
When will that phone ring, eh?
Barry Jones. I'm just confirming that the subject is now leaving the Cobden Hotel. She's forgotten her bag. Excuse me, this girl's forgotten her bag. The man that just left the premises now, is he a German?
Yeah, Carl Schultz, he's a guest.
Thanks for the bag.
Hey, don't thank me, thank those guys over there.
Well, let's give it a bag.
Hands behind your back. Come on. Police officers, you're under arrest for kidnap. You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, but anything you do say may be taken down and given in evidence.
Oh, you've been watching too much TV, I think.
He was the ringleader and the main man, and I felt tremendously relieved. My wife, Ed, she wasn't at all relieved. In fact, she said she felt much worse because she had, for some reason, had it in her mind that he, being a devious person that he is, would somehow convince them that he wasn't involved and he'd be out and come back for us.
My task was to go with two other officers to North Wales to collect the prisoner who I knew as Carl Schultz and to return to Essex. I've got no doubts in my mind that he would have made an attempt to escape. Because it's a very vulnerable time, long journey, and he has all the time to plan, and we have all the disadvantages made to us. So I made a deliberate ploy of sitting central to the back seats and having physical contact with him at all times. Two reasons. One, that takes that aura away from him a little bit, and two, any slight movement that he would have made, I was in a position to react to it. This is Carl Schultz. He's been arrested by the North Wales Police for the Tesco kidnapping and his original documentation of custody.
Basically, you have the right to have somebody told you've been arrested. You have the right to speak with a solicitor at public expense. And you have the right to consult a copy of the codes of practice. That is just a rule book by which we work. You can have any of those rights now, any time whilst you're here. Do you understand that?
I had a fax copy sent through to me of the black book. We were aware that there was telephone numbers in a black book. We'd been given that information prior, and that those telephone numbers were coded. And the fax was sent through, and I had a look at it, and we managed to sort of work out what the code was. And having got the code, we sort of game on for the next two.
Oh dear, is Sean and Robert in?
No, they're not.
Can you tell me where they are?
They're out.
They're out, are they? Can you just come with me, please? Yeah, just about with these officers. They'll explain everything to you in a minute.
He's yours, she's yours.
Hello, boss. Yes, Nigel. Yeah. Look, we turned the whole house over. The bloody house is from top to bottom, but they're just not there.
Get your chaps down there, and as they say, don't come back without them.
Just hope the other boys have some luck. Very frustrated they're not here. Oh my God, there it is. There it is.
1-3 and 1-4 from 1-2. Targets into the silver Peugeot. Telephone box, Iceni Way, near the Ancient Britain Public House. Receive over?
We're all right. See the thing, not a thing.
We're Iceni Way towards...
1-3, spot a target vehicle right behind you, mate.
Receive.
He's going around here. I can't believe I ain't seen a thing.
To the junction with Layer Road, and we have a right to Layer Road.
I'm twigging if I sit here too long.
Yeah. Tell Mark to slow back a bit.
4 with you, 306.
Right, he's almost there.
Receive 1-4. 1-3, outside lead car. 4 with you now. Receive 1-4.
I think set lights.
Weapons search! It's a conspiracy to rob. You do not have to say anything unless you wish to do so, but what you're saying may be given evidence. Do you understand? Yes!
In there. Get there and shut up.
Yeah, right.
Get in there. Shut up.
Do you know, there's only one thing that I find worse than death itself, and that's the fear of death. And you maintained that fear with that family for 15 hours, and now you haven't even got the balls to look up. Some sort of man you are. I hope that lives with you for the rest of your life.
Was it you then, Sean, lifting the lady's skirt up? Was it you? Because at the moment, the way you are, I've got to say that I think it was. You were going to rape her, weren't you, if you'd have had the opportunity? For the benefit of the tape, his eyes are full of water. What are these going to tell us?
I think you may get a surprise.
Surprise? What, here in Germany?
It's for you to find out.
I'm sure we will. Right, cock your hand up, please. That's it. Let me just draw it across the roller. Lift up. Thanks. Do you admit you're John Calton?
No comment.
You see, we now know who you really are, John. I'll call you that, as that's the name you were born with. You're John Calton from Sheffield, aren't you? You're born in Sheffield, went to Wanwell Primary School. Is that true, John? Served in the army? Parachute regiment? Obviously couldn't hack it, because you came out. Did you buy yourself out, or did you get kicked out, John? Did some building society robberies in London? Got caught for those as John Calton, who everybody describes as speaking with a Yorkshire accent. So is it modelled on the films? Is that where Carl Schultz has come from, is it? The films you used to watch down in the bedsitter dressing order shop. Jean's place, I think. Somebody. Is that where it comes from? For the benefit of the tape, John Calton's holding up a piece of paper which has the words "no comment," and a picture depicting a coffin with died of 1990, the last digit left blank, and the words Marsh, Allen and all police informants. Well, why still try and intimidate us? We know you're not Carl Schultz. You obviously don't even speak German, do you, John? Talk to me in your native tongue, John. You don't, do you?
No comment.
No comment. If Mr. Andrews hadn't complied with your demands, would you have harmed the boys or shot the boys or Mrs. Andrews? Would you have done that? As you threatened? For the benefit of the tape, he just ran his finger across his throat. Is that a threat, or is that an innuendo that you would have killed them? I don't think he would.
No comment.
You know Terry Allen? You sit there purporting to be the big hard man. The German, Hans Karl Schultz, Arnold Schwarzenegger, call it what you will. Always behind the other end of a gun. You send the boys in over the threshold to do the job, and that was a 15-year-old boy. Hmm? John, Sheffield?
Sit down, Mr. Schultz.
You want to try? Asshole.
And what film was that out of, John?
It's interesting when confronted with reality, he still maintains the role. I imagine John Carlton is a very inadequate person who has a great deal of problems in self-esteem. He's wanting to change that image. What better way than to change it completely? Change your name, change your nationality, and make up the role that you want to play. He's almost like an actor in a film, but he's both the actor and the director. It's very tempting to say he's mad, but it's highly unlikely. He clearly knows that he's operating two roles, his original Yorkshire role and his role as a German. There's no question of him losing touch with reality.
Number 4, please. Would you please come here and take the space under number 7? You're quite happy?
We had Terry Allen. We had circumstantial evidence in a number of respects. But the crucial thing with this type of serious offence is for witnesses to actually identify the villains. And therefore, following the arrest of Carlton, we put him on identification parade, and we then put Moore and Wayne on identification parades when they were arrested.
Would you like to go outside, please? Have you made an identification?
Yes.
Which number, please?
Number 4.
We got a tremendous result. They were identified, and really that crunched it. That crunched it as far as the evidence was concerned. Tremendous.
People have been so helpful, so really, really supportive. But for them, it's over. For us, it's not over. There's still things that happen to us late at night, middle of the night, during the day. Things that remind us of what's going on, and we're reassured that that will go away or subside a little with time. And it's been now 2 years, and there are still things that do give you a start, a smell, a sound, a noise. And it brings the cold sweat down your shoulders, and just a start gives you a fright. And just wish it was not there. Just wish it we could turn back the clock 2 years and we could have avoided the situation, because those people have affected our lives. I mean, for the rest of our life, that it might diminish, but it won't go away. It can't.
If ever there was a case where I am dealing with men who are dangerous and from whom the public need a long period of protection, it is you three. You carried out these brutal, cruel robberies and the kidnap of honest, ordinary, decent people using vile cruelty in which you showed no mercy, and you can expect little from me. Carlton, you will go to prison for 25 years.